Go Texan weekend, yes, in Western Regalia and right now. Empire builder, broker, owner extraordinaire of JLA Realty. His name is John Altic. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
And thanks for taking a little bit of time from building the Empire to be here. In fact, that's Empire building Western music we have in the background.
You know, and I'm sorry that this was the best I could do for the Western wear, but
actually, it's a refreshing change to see such beautiful paisley right here. So tune into the YouTube channel. You'll be able to see John and the full cast here. John, tell us what's going on. This Empire.
Well, we definitely are experiencing a lot of growth. We've been very blessed to have fabulous agents, and I've got the best management team in the city. And we've seen a lot of growth. Friday will be 3 years that I opened my first office in Atascocita with 22 agents. And right now we're sitting with 7 offices and 447 agents as of this morning. So a little bit of crazy growth in 3 years. But it's because I've got phenomenal people. I can't claim all that by any means.
And in a way, when you mention that number, the quantity, I mean, it's quality and quantity. But when you mention that a number, it sounds like an army. A real estate army.
We do have an army out there, brother. There's no doubt about it. My agents are out on the streets every day, and it's fabulous to see the numbers we're producing. We finished 2016 $100 million over 2015, putting us in the top 35 in Houston for gross sales. So we're super excited about that.
Very nice. And as we think about the rest of the year, how are you seeing it play out as you look at the crystal ball?
So all of my years in real estate, I've never seen a January like we had this year. And February, phenomenal as well. At this pace, I think that 2017 may be the best year we've ever seen in Houston real estate. I think client confidence is way up. We got through the election. So glad to see the election over with. Now we can go back to watching cat videos on Facebook. But it's nice to see the client confidence where they're moving up, they're buying, they're making the moves that they need to as a family to get their kids in the schools they want to be in. Or we also see an uptick in investors, a lot of international business going on right now. We have a lot of international agents that are bringing in buyers from China, from Mexico, from Vietnam. And we're seeing a really nice uptick in that as we head into 2017. So I expect it to be a monster year.
And everybody approaches business differently, but to do what you're doing with the size of your operation, with 400 people, I mean, that's visionary stuff, and you have to be a strong leader. But when we talk about a vision, and I know some of it you probably have an idea what's going to happen, and then you play as you go. But what's the source of your inspiration, and what gets you excited to even do this?
So I spent 14 years in corporate America with Hershey Chocolate, which is a great...
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, great company. I sold chocolate for a long time. Combining that with the fact that I was a franchise owner, a real estate franchise owner back in the day, and when I decided to do JLA, I sat down with my wife and I told her, we've got to do something totally different, because real estate's kind of an old business. It's kind of stuck in its ways. And one thing that I pride myself on at JLA is we have an amazing culture. We have a lot of fun. I'm big on fun. And I'm not your traditional broker. You can tell that by the purple Chuck Taylors and the paisley shirt today. I want to go out here and have a good time. I want to enjoy my day every day. And then I want my agents to embrace who they are. And I want them to be that person. If you're a person that likes to have purple hair, then rock your purple hair, because your friends and family are going to expect that.
I'd like to have any kind
of
hair.
Now you would, Bill. Purple, green,
matter.
you wouldn't mind.
Exactly.
But I'm big on culture, because in real estate, the bulk of your business, especially in the beginning, are friends and family. And your friends and family knows you for who you are. They don't want you to be somebody else. So when we bring on new agents, or we're bringing on growth agents, I tell them, be yourself, be who you are. Your friends and family are going to embrace that, and they're going to use you in real estate. So I'm big on the culture. We wouldn't have gotten here without the culture that we have. We're this crazy family. We have a good time together. We had our annual awards party on Friday night, and I don't do a normal party. This year was Pirate Ball, so you had to come dressed as a pirate for our awards party. So we had about 350 pirates running around Atascocita on Friday night, and we just had a really good time, enjoyed ourselves. The vendors come out. Stewart Title was a great supporter of us on Friday night, and we got to see Steve in his pirate outfit. It was a good time.
He looks like a pirate, even if he doesn't have the outfit
True story.
on. I will say that.
True story.
I'm just saying.
But that's our style, Bill. We want to go out here and have some fun, and I want the agents to enjoy what they do every day, and then it then parlays itself out into taking care of their clients, because they're dialed in and they're enjoying what they do.
They really are. Two things. Let's go back just a second to Hershey's chocolate. Now, yes, I grew up 20 minutes from the Hershey factory.
Oh, cool.
I would assume that you've been to Hershey.
Been there quite a bit of times, yeah.
It's a beautiful part of the world, isn't it?
Correct. It is. It's beautiful up there.
Chocolate town. You drive through those cocoa bushes outside. People can't imagine when you drive through a city. It smells like chocolate.
Yep.
The Hershey kisses on the light post. It's like a dream, isn't it?
It's a great company, and when I started, they had a fabulous culture, and I built my business around that type of culture of just embracing who you are. And if for those of you that haven't looked up the history of Hershey, why Hershey is so great is that they actually support the Milton Hershey School. So the company Hershey Chocolate is owned by the Milton Hershey School, and all the money goes back to the school. And the school only brings in disadvantaged children who lost parents from all over the country. So it's a really cool background behind that company.
It really is. Yep. I mean, just like the rodeo right here on this Go Texan weekend helps children throughout this whole month of March and even beyond. That's what Milton Hershey did in that town of Hershey. Correct. It lives on. Here's another thing that comes to mind. As we talk about having the amount of quality and quantity of agents that you do, people that are out there, there's some people that are thinking about getting into real estate, and you've interviewed so many people, talked to real estate people. What are the things, if someone said, John, I'm thinking about being in real estate, let's say a young person, they say, I'm thinking about being in real estate. How can you coach them? I mean, how do you know the right personality? Or they say, hey, do you think I could do well in this? Well, what would you say to them?
I enjoy sitting down with those folks because it's not for everybody. The business is not as easy as it looks. And usually it's those folks that have sold a home and they look on their closing statement and see a realtor made $5,000 or $6,000 and think, well, I can do that. I can sell 5 of those a month. And I try to explain to them it's a very hard business to get started in. The first 6 to 8 months in real estate can be brutal. You're trying to build your brand. You're trying to learn the business. And just because you take the classes doesn't mean you're going to be a good real estate agent. And so we spend a lot of time counseling those before they even get into it, and just so they know what the expectations are, because it's rare that you're going to see an agent walk out here and make $40,000 their first year or $50,000 their first year, and that's why they're getting into it.
And I have to say, when you talk about the $10,000 checks, people say, "Oh, well, I've just made $10,000." No, you didn't.
No.
You made 6, and you're a partner with Uncle Sam, like we all are, no matter what. But especially independent contracts, we are now being joined by the one and only Chris Kelso with Fairway Mortgage, a big friend. John, as soon as he heard you were going to be on the show, he's like the wedding crasher. He says I'm going to be. Let's welcome Chris Kelso. All right,
Chris.
It's not very often we get John around here, so I was like, we got him out of his side of the world, got him down here, and as I was listening to what he was saying, I will tell you this, and John knows this. I met John 3 years ago plus when he was just starting off at JLA. And as he says, he never does everything. Just starting, exactly. And, I never forget sitting down with you, John, and I was like, well, where do you want to be? And John said, if we get to be 100 agents in the future, we'll know we went somewhere. And now he's 447, as of today. But the one thing I will tell you is John is the culture he has been. He was talking about this. In any business, you can take away price, you can take away product, and still survive. You can't take away culture and survive. And that's what he has created, though. It is absolutely a great culture at JLA. What they stand for. You mentioned the awards party, which was actually a pirate theme. And one of the great things, even the awards he gave away were not the traditional awards. I mean, Corey won for best branding.
Yeah.
As far as the and I'm going to say this right, the Kilted Realtor. I said it
I've
wrong
him,
last
yes.
time to him on air, and it was funny. And Houston Shelley and Megan Latour and so many of your great producers that do such a good job, but it's very different, and I can't say enough about how much I've been loved watching from the outside in, and sometimes from the inside out, that growth that he's going to be able to do.
And John, what are some of the other things you'd like people to know that are happening at your company? And there may even be agents out there that are going to say, hey, I need to reach out to John. What would you tell them?
A lot of growth happening right now. I have a management team of about 18 great managers right now, and we're all over the city. So we've got offices in Katy. We're opening an office in the Woodlands here shortly. We're all over the Northeast quadrant with multiple offices. What I would tell people about JLA is we're different. We're definitely different. We like to have a good time. I want you to learn, and we're gonna make you a really, really strong agent because our training is second to none. We have a training schedule for Friday. I think 175 agents are showing up for one-day training that I teach all day on Friday. And for those of you in the real estate business, to get 10 agents to show up for training is difficult. So to get 175 to show up at my training, and many of them are not even my agents. I probably have 25 of them that are with other brokerages, but I have an open concept. You want to come learn, we'll teach anybody.
That sounds awesome. John, tell people how they can reach you.
You can get me on my cell phone, 281-744-2611. You can get me via email, jaltic@jlarealestate.com. But I'm all over social media, so grab me anywhere you can get me.
And I want to also ask to lead this company the way you are and to stay inspired. What are some of the give us just one word about a core principle of success that has served you, that really has helped you grow and has helped you in your profession, even going back to the Hershey days?
Be yourself. So I'm all about being yourself. Don't try and be somebody else. Don't try and walk in somebody else's shoes. Once you create your own persona and who you are, because we all have our own brand, and it's who you are. Bill, you are Bill. Everybody that knows Bill, and be your brand. And that's what I tell people. Don't try and change to be somebody you're not.
I like the book Gene Simmons from KISS wrote. His book is called Me Incorporated, a fascinating book, business book. He started with nothing. Now, let's tell people how they can reach you again, John.
Cell phone 281-744-2611. Catch me via email, jaltic@jlarealestate.com.
And Chris.
You want me to ask him one more
just
question?
Just one more, a short one, yeah.
He mentioned 2017. Obviously you had a great year in 2016. What do you foresee in 2017? I mean, you did $100 million more. What's that goal look like for 2017?
My goal is to hit at least 600 agents by the end of the year, and that's fabulous, but I want those agents producing at a high rate. I expect another $100 million in increase over last year, which would put us in a really good spot.
There you go. John Altic, JLA Realty, and Chris Kelso. Chris, Fairway Mortgage. Let's tell people how they can reach you, too.
All the time, 713-256-9138, or online at fairwaykelsogroup.com.
Fairway, you're building an empire too, to say the least. And you can hear Chris on the Real Estate Rat Pack every Saturday on this same station at 9 o'clock. If you're listening at the time of broadcast, you've already enjoyed the show, but you've got realestateratpack.com, right, Chris?
That is correct, absolutely. Which y'all are part of. Y'all have always been Rat Packed, and you're going to continue to be Rat Packed in the future.
And the family grows, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Here's another great Western theme. Guess that theme, guys. Here we go. Who's going to guess it? And welcome back. Real Estate Matters on this Go Texan weekend. These great Western themes. Who doesn't love this? I like the Blues Brothers version of Raw High, if you remember the Blues Brothers. And now, from JLA Realty, another superstar. His name is James Hargrove. James, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. Thanks for having us in today. It's a pleasure.
Super cool. Boy, Go Texan weekend. I love how it comes around every year at this time. And in fact, it seems to be here quicker each year.
Yeah, I love the rodeo. I mean, I don't always see the rodeo, but it's like a state fair kind of thing to me. I'm a Texan transplant, got here as quick as I could, so the rodeo's always a big deal for me.
It really is. It's a true distinction for Houston, Texas. It is the largest rodeo in the world, I'm told, and a great distinction, just like JLA Realty. From your perspective, James, boy, you could be with a lot of different companies, but JLA, it looks like the last time you were here, it looks like you're really enjoying your work at JLA Realty.
So, absolutely. So, John and I, Mr. Altic, we've probably known each other 5 or 6 years now prior to working together, and I'd been with Keller Williams prior, and the real corporate structure like John had talked about, and John and I talked a lot offline as friends and what we were doing separately and what JLA was doing, and we're talking about the growth and how we could potentially work together and what that would look like. And that came to fruition in July of 2015, and I took my role with JLA, and it's been nonstop ever since.
And let's tell people your specialty now. Do you go by area? You're in the Kingwood area, so
I like the Humble, Kingwood, Atascocita area. I'll go as far north as Cleveland, as far south as, well, not much further south than the Beltway, really, but we've got offices everywhere, so there's no reason for me to try to specialize in Katy or Sugar Land. Those are places I don't frequent that often.
And let's give people an idea, because we know people here in Houston know about Kingwood, but we also know people hear this show long after it's broadcast in all kinds of places. It's fascinating how that works. Let's tell people, if you could paint a picture and someone says, man, I've heard about the Woodlands, I've heard about Katy. If you were to tell them about Kingwood, what would be some of the things that you'd say about Kingwood?
So some of the most recent news I've heard about Kingwood is, of course, we have Lake Houston, and they're calling it the Lake Houston area now. With Generation Park coming in, we've got West Lake Houston Parkway has been noted as the residential runway. There's so much new construction coming into that area right now. Now, I did just see a list recently, as of yesterday, the top 10 fastest performing neighborhoods in Houston, and Katy made that list twice, for the southwest side of Katy and I think the north side of Katy. Kingwood was not on that list, which I was surprised, because we do have so much new construction going in. But I think new construction is still strong in the Kingwood, Omaha, Atascocita area. I think we'll continue to see growth there because there's a lot of underdeveloped areas. We've got new commercial things coming in as well. We're getting a main event that'll be opening up in a couple months. So things like that come into the area.
So from a buyer's perspective, it sounds like one of the nice things, other than it being the livable forest, lots of trees, right? You live up there, you're enjoying it, right?
Yes.
But in addition to that, they have the selection of, I think, homes at a wide range of pricing, but also they can have waterfront homes, and they can have great schools too.
Well, great schools, and prices are up across, Metro Houston for sure, and entry points into Kingwood are a lot higher than they used to be in previous years. But we've got new construction coming in from, I would say, mid twos to mid threes, high threes, something like that. New neighborhood, specifically in Kingwood, is Royal Brook, I believe. But then that's on the north end of Westlake Houston, going all the way into Porter, Texas. And then, of course, Westlake Houston runs all the way down to the Beltway to where the new generation park's being planted at.
And I think that's a nice thing as a buyer, putting myself in that buyer mode. And now that again thinking about my house, I need to be a buyer somewhere soon. But in the meantime, thinking about being that buyer, it's nice to have the choice of price points, but also to say, do I want new construction or do I want to buy an existing home? That's a nice feature.
Resales. And in fact, my conversation with Steve Sheeney of Stewart Title coming in this morning, he says some of the reports that he views looks like inventory is loosening up, and we're going to see more listings on the market going into spring. And of course, we're at that time of year where that should be happening anyway. But I look for a lot of great resales coming up into the market, and then of course the new construction.
Very nice. And we want to thank Steve Sheeney for bringing you in here today. And, of course, John, I mean, that was great. And, of course, he was at your party there the other night,
Absolutely he was. I saw him 2 or 3 times in passing. There were so many pirates, I couldn't recognize them.
After 5 pirates, it's like, hey, what's this deal?
Which pirate are you? Yeah, I didn't know anymore.
That's a super idea. But also, some of the other things, what would you tell sellers right now up there in the Kingwood area? They come up to you and they say, James, I'm thinking about listing my home. What are the things that you tell them in terms of the timing it's going to take? Let's say it's a nice home in a nice neighborhood. Of course, those are general terms, but a pristine home, in fact, in a nice neighborhood with curb appeal. And let's say it's already decluttered, ready to sell. And they said, James, how long is it going to take me to sell this thing?
I think they're looking at multiple offers, possibly. I mean, depending on which
let's say that one more time. What's those 2 words?
Multiple offers, Bill. Multiple offers. If they're in a nice section of Kingwood, which Kingwood as a whole is nice, but some pocket villages are nicer than others or different price points. So depending on how desirable that village within Kingwood is and how nice the home is, if it's pristine, like you said, priced correctly, they're looking at multiple offers still.
And then let's say you mentioned the Lake Houston, right?
That's correct.
So what if they want a home on the water? Let's say an average, here we go, average, nice, these are general terms. Let's say a medium 3-bedroom home on the water in a nice neighborhood. What is the range of pricing?
What's available immediately on the water, maybe except some of the new construction coming available. $400,000 to $600,000, maybe 600 and up, depending on how much you're actually on the water.
So if you really, let's say let's up the dollars there. Let's say if we had 700,000, we might now we're talking.
Right. Absolutely.
Because a lot of people love that waterfront living.
Well, and with the new neighborhoods coming in further south on Westlake Houston, I think it's KB Homes, if I'm not mistaken, is building some stuff that's going to have some waterfront opportunities, and they were pre-selling that even last year. So true waterfront with. And when I say waterfront, I'm thinking the boat dock and actually access to the water. There's plenty of it out there. It's hard to come by. It doesn't hit the market that often.
So if it's hard to come by, that means it's a great feature when it comes time to sell.
Oh, absolutely.
Down the road. Just like a great school district always serves someone when it's time to leave and go to their next place.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking about this too. People buy and sell for a variety of reasons, but sometimes people want to sell just to change their environment, just to have a change, because life is short, and if people are out there listening and they're thinking, hey, it's time to change. Sometimes buying that new home, whatever size, up or down size, it's just nice to have a new perspective.
Well, they say, I think nationally on the average people move every 5 to 7 years, and Kingwood has a lot of great move-up neighborhoods. Some of our entry-level price points have come up over the past few years, but starting at $165, I saw a resale listing the other day, which is one of our starter neighborhoods. And that's a great opportunity to move up into a $200,000 or $300,000 home from that starter home that they maybe had for a few years in the Kingwood market.
So if someone's been in their home about 12 years, like me, it might be time. I'm getting in the mood talking to all these realtors. It's like
absolutely. I was just thinking maybe I should discuss selling your home with you over lunch this afternoon.
There you go. I figured you're taking the bait there. But in the meantime, that is so awesome. Also, give us an idea. As far as real estate, you can be doing so many things. John talked about this corporate work, and all that. But what is it about real estate where you really have found your home there in the real estate world?
Well, I think in the past couple of years, being with JLA, past year and a half, year and 3/4, I'm not sure exactly where it is, I've moved into more a leadership role, and I spend a lot of time grooming new agents that have a variety of questions. Some have done no transactions. Some are getting into transactions that they've never encountered before. So although I'm still in production myself and I do help people buy and sell homes, I also spend a large amount of my time helping agents that are new to the industry.
Now, that sounds awesome. Also, James, give us another idea. What else would you like people to know here before we close out the segment?
Well, just to keep watching us. I think it's going to be a phenomenal year for 2017 for JLA, and we're looking forward to it.
Man, I don't know if you're publicly traded. It might be time to buy some JLA stock. And, John's over there laughing. I tell you what, that may be next on his
list.
We
may go public at some point.
Very nice. And, James, how can people reach you at JLA Realty?
Directly on my cell, 281-961-3599, facebook.com/TXRE Dude. Also like Twitter at Twitter TXRE_dude. You can hit me there as well.
It's like you're the dude.
I'm the dude.
The dude.
People are starting to call me the dude now. I got a message yesterday and they said, "Hey, dude." And I was like, "Oh gosh."
Here we go. And the phone number once more time.
281-961-3599.
So nice. And you are listening to Real Estate Matters on this Go Texan weekend. And here we go. One of my favorite themes. I don't know if you can guess this. Anybody guess this one?
Say Rawhide, but that's Bonanza.
That is Bonanza.
Okay.
Poss and the Cartwrights. Yeah, super cool. And we're coming right back. Stay with us. Enjoy the music. And now he's back. John Altic. John, welcome back. What else should we know?
We just want to thank you for letting us come down here. We always enjoy coming down and hanging out on the show, and it's fun to tell our story to people that don't really know us outside of the Houston market or different parts of the city. But again, I can't reiterate how great real estate is, how great the economy here is in Houston, and we're just going to continue to watch it grow and flourish and be excited for our city.
Now, I have to ask you this: as busy as we all are, and as busy as you are with your company, John, when you take a break, I mean, balance in life is so important. When you take a break, what are the things that you're doing besides real estate?
So I have 2 daughters and a wife. My wife and I have been together 22 years. I've got a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old, and we spend a lot of family time together. We like to travel, so it's not going to be a few more weeks. We're headed to Jamaica to get away for a few days. So I find that in any business, if you're not celebrating your successes by a little downtime with your family, you're gonna miss out. So,
and you have to do that by blocking that time out, right?
Yeah. Correct. You time block and find out what you can do with your time that makes you the happiest and lets you unwind, refresh. Although my team doesn't like it when I get on the beach because I tend to come back with crazy ideas. So.
A great place for inspiration, that downtime. And also, you mentioned something about reading earlier here during one of the breaks. Do you actually have time? Do you actually read? Because that's so important, I think, for leadership.
I read every night. I'm a 2-book-a-week guy. I've got a pretty bad habit.
Whoa. Say that again?
I read every night, but I'm a 2-book-a-week habit guy with reading. I've always been a proficient reader. I enjoy it. It's where I get a lot of my inspiration for ideas, and there's just some fabulous books out there.
Now, are you only reading business books, or do you read a fiction from time to time?
I've usually got a fiction and a nonfiction going at the same time.
That's what I try to do, but one of my problems is focusing. Seriously, how do you focus to get through a book?
Well, if you talk to my team, I don't focus well. I get a little carried away sometimes, but it's, I take time for it. One night it's fiction, one night it's nonfiction, and just enjoy my time.
That's a great wind down. John, let's tell people how they can reach you one more time.
Cell phone 281-744-2611. Catch me on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere you want to grab me.
JLA Realty, John Altic. Thank you for taking time to be here, John. And now he's back also with JLA Realty, James Hargrove. James, welcome back.
Hey, thanks, Bill. Thanks for having us on today.
Maybe next time. I heard you play the guitar.
I do play a little guitar. That's my downtime. I think John likes to go to the beach, and I like to sit and play my guitar by myself. That's kind of lonely, but it frees my space in my head.
Well, we all have to do something. There's no question. I play piano and organ, and playing music is just great therapy, whether you're playing for a crowd or, like you say, by yourself.
When are we putting together our Western Swing Band? I didn't know you played piano.
We need to do that. Do you sing?
Not very well.
Well,
but
you have a great voice. People would hear that voice and say, this guy's a singer, too.
I talk better than I sing, I believe.
Well, with the last 30 seconds, what else would you like people to know?
Just keep an eye on JLA Realty.
And how did that horse get in here? All right, down boy. James, let's tell people how they can reach you.
281-961-3599 at Twitter, TXRE_dude.
The dude, that's right, the real estate dude. James Hargrove. James, thanks for being on Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, and thank you all for listening to the show. You can all, you're thinking the show's ending right now. Well, it's not really. It never ends at the time of broadcast, yes, but you can hear us 24/7. at Stewart.com/Houston. Again, Stewart.com/Houston. And again, we are here in our Western regalia and purple sneakers and everything else. So go to my YouTube channel where you can actually see these great guests. That's right, Bill Knapik with a K. Radio shows, Bill Knapik radio shows on my YouTube channel. You can see all this action. And of course, Stewart.com/Houston. You want an insurance quote? I know you do. Stewart.com, the very first page. And you want a great closing right there in the loop. Go to the Kirby location. Just Google Stewart Kirby. You'll find us right there. 713-528-5007. And now as we wind down this show, we'll see you next week. Yes, I was hoping he would play that song. Doesn't this get you revved up? To continue this Saturday with Go Texan Weekend, I've got my cowboy hat on, purple sneakers, everything else, paisley shirt. It's all over the place. We're going to see you next week. Go to Stewart.com. Thank you, John. Thank you, Chris Kelso. Thank you, James. Thank you, Rachel, Steve Sheeny, Brittany Taggart, Tom Carpentier, Sigmund Kramer, a cast of thousands. And we'll ride off into the sunset as we listen to this. Till next week, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We'll see you then.